Hello and welcome. Today we are going to talk about tile maps and how to create them. They're basically our level, so what our sprite is interacting with.
Here we have a demo of what we're gonna be building. We have a road and we have a few homes that we set together here. We got 4 in total. And what we're gonna be doing is we're going to try to imitate a game similar to
Diner Dash, like we're delivering things.
That's right. And so right here is how it will look at the end. Right now, the sprite that you see, it won't be, we're gonna be using a different type of transportation, but we wanted to show you this so you guys can see what we have. So we'll jump right in. So we're back in our editor. Here we're gonna start making our tile map. So what is the first thing we should do, Rachel?
So before we can edit our tile map, we have to create it. So we're going to the scene section and we're going to scroll down to where it says set, which is a keyword for like creating, set tile map to, and then we have a blank square. This is where we will make some edits. And we want to make it a little bit longer than what it is now and actually a little bit shorter than it is now. So to control the width, like our x-axis, we're going to do that first number. And we're gonna make it, let's make it 32, about double what we've got. And let's half the height, so we'll make it 8. And now we have the general shape of what we want, the correct area for what kind of level we want to build. So we want to make some roads on the edges. So we're going to go to, I think it's in miscellaneous, is that right?
That's right.
And
don't forget we have so many other categories, but for this one we're just sticking with miscellaneous so you guys can find the road.
Yes, so let's go next. And here's 2 pieces of the road. We'll start with that. It's the top left corner and then the top right. And if we go to next, we'll do the other corners, bottom left and bottom right. And for this next part where we're doing the borders, where we do lots of the same tile in a straight line, we're going to use the line tool.
Yes, and here in the top, you can see all the tools. The one I've been using so far is the pen tool. We also got the eraser, the rectangle, the paint bucket, the circle, the line tool, what was this one again called?
It's called the marquee, or it's like a select tool.
Selector and the pen. So we're going to select the line tool.
And we're going to outline the top. Now let's do the right side and the left side. And we'll do the bottom. And that's our border for our road. Now we want to create where the houses are. So we have green to show basically grass area. And since we want to do a big place of that, or a big area, we're going to use the paint bucket. So it just fills in all of the adjacent transparencies or whatever adjacent piece you're looking at. So now we want to make our lots of land for our houses to sit on, and that's in forest, right?
Yes, forest. And here you have many other options, but we're gonna start with the first option here, the first tab, and we're going to go down 2, go back to your pen tool, then we're gonna go 2 down and then 3 to the right. So
1 more to the right, there you go.
And then we want to go ahead and start selecting.
I think we do 3 in the middle.
3.
Because if we do, we have to do 1 more wide.
1 more here?
Yes. That way the house can sit in the middle.
And 1, 2, 3 from the bottom.
All right, so we've created this one. And instead of recreating that from scratch, we're actually going to use the Marque Tool or the Select Tool, and we're going to copy and paste it and then just move it to different locations.
And to do that, we have to use a combination of keys. On your keyboard, you cannot right click. It won't let you, so I'm going to do the combination of
Control-C to copy and Control-V to paste. Now it stays on the Marque Tool because that's the last tool we were at, so we can just stay on that to drag it. And we want 4 of those lots. And if it ever does that, we can just undo with Control-Z. All right, looking good.
Now finally, we need to select a distinct tile map or a distinct tile. We're gonna go back to miscellaneous and I'm going to select something pre-made. But in the future, when we're actually doing our own levels, we create our own tiles to make sure that it's only going to be used once, right?
It's like we want to make a tile that's unique because we're going to make, this is basically a placeholder and we're going to put a house on top of it. So we don't want to use a tile that we'll use elsewhere because the code would then make that tile have a house on it as well.
Yeah, so for the next step, we're going to talk about loops, and we will be teaching you more about them in the future, but for this tutorial, we just follow along. So we go to a loops.
This one's going to be called for each.
For each. Let's see, where is that one?
Or sorry, not for each, for element.
For element. And now we have this block right here. We need to do some drag some special blocks in here. So the first block is what?
We're going to replace our list block with that first block called an array of locations, like right. So in theme.
So right here, we gotta scroll down to array of all locations. We're gonna drag that and we're gonna put it on top of that. And if it wasn't compatible, I could not drag it in there. It wouldn't let me. But because a list and an array is the same thing, it will work. So what's next?
So we want to choose the tile we have for the house in our array. So we're going to choose that orange little button looking tile.
Yes, that's going to be where basically that's the placeholder for our house, right?
Yes, so now it's basically the values stored all of those locations. It knows all the locations of that orange block. So now we actually want to create our house sprite. And that needs to go inside the loop.
Make sure it's inside or it won't work. Now I'm gonna go to this empty space and go to the gallery, and you will see a house like this. Select it and press done. And now in the kind we need to change it to something else. We don't want it to be the player because this is not gonna be moving or doing anything. It's just for cosmetics. It's basically how we're going to what we're gonna be interacting with. So I'm gonna change this and I'm gonna create a new kind called house. House or home?
House, let's do house.
And make sure it's capitalized.
Types are typically capitalized, so it's good to stay in that kind of theme there.
Okay. Now we have house.
Or types are kinds. I would say kinds. Now we're going to replace basically the orange tile with a house. So we're going to use what's called a place block, and that's under scene. Yes.
Okay. So it's a place.
So we don't want it to be random. There's two options, a random one and then a definite one. We know where we want it to be, so we're going to use just the definite one. So place my sprite on top of the value, since that stores all of those orange block or orange tile locations.
Now you see how it was 0, 0 at the beginning. So that's why the column in the row is at 0, 0. So right now when you refresh the game, it goes into the corner. But by dragging this value, it knows where all of the locations are, and it will place it on the right location. So you don't have to go into your tile map and check for each location. And you can see the column in the row and the bottom, but that way you don't have to do that. Continue along. So now, as you can see, we have the home where it's supposed to be. And just like we showed you in the intro, when you traverse through the tile map, you will be able to see each home. In the next tutorial, we'll show you how to then create a player or create the actual object that is going to be moving around our tile map and delivering food, just like that game that you were talking about, right?
Right, kind of like Diner Dash. All right, see y'all next time.